This morning, guys, I got a notification on my phone saying that my Instagram account was flagged and that I could not monetize it. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, first of all, can I monetize my Instagram account?
Build your list, right? Build an asset that you can control. And unfortunately, you cannot control 100% social media.
What are other ways that maybe we can steer or even own our own traffic, right? Where you can still building real relationships through email. And by the way, email is not dead for those thinking that email is dead.
I don't have a software that sends emails to all these people. You don't need it. Like in the most basic element, people are signing up for something, right? They willingly give you their contact information. That can literally be an Excel sheet.
Hey guys, welcome back to Content is Profit. We are back in studio. What's up, acquisition.com?
Solo episode.
I'm
manifesting Alex Ormosi investing into our company.
Let's go. Well, we had somebody walk in Friday and they're like, can I invest in your company?
Not quite like that. Not how it went. But yeah, he was like, well, maybe I'll invest in your company.
There you go. That's even better. He liked what he saw. Just saying, like, for those that are not familiar, you know, we have a physical studio here where we are, and we like the wow effects. And when they walk into their studio, when they were going to record, they're like, wow, we like this.
They did say wow.
They say that. So yeah. Anyways, it was a little bit, a little enhancement we did. But enough of that. This morning, guys, I got a notification on my phone saying that my Instagram account was flagged and that I could not monetize it. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, first of all, can I monetize my Instagram account? Second of all, I was like, wait, what did I post that that caused this flag, right? And I went back and, you know, as you might know, Venezuela might not be in the best political situation right now. So we've been, you know, sharing a little bit of the information of things that are happening there, which surprisingly enough, that was not the flag. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And it was last night, I was just going through my feed and I found a video that I found hilarious. I found a video of these reports of allegedly AI altered pictures for Kamala Harris. And again, not siding with any political thing in the topic of content is profit, but we just want to bring this because it's obviously hot and spicy for a lot of people that want to put their thoughts on social media, right? Want to express themselves, whether you're on one side or the other. And I was just resharing in my story this video because I thought it was a good analysis of that specific picture that showed a crowd, but then on the airplane, there was no crowd on the reflection of the airplane, right? And I was like, whoa, this is pretty interesting. And I just thought it was funny and I shared it as a funny thing.
Yep.
And then hence, I get a notification and you can see the pictures here of my account has been fact-checked by independent fact-checkers. And I was like, wow, what a great way for Meta to clean their hands and say that it's not them that are banning your account and maybe save a lot of money. That's immediately the first thought
that came. It's probably a process, somebody that reported you or whatever, and then,
Yeah, which by the way, we found, we're going to link it right below to the article that says, you know, that whatever, that fact checked that. But again, if you read books like Trust Me, I'm Lying, you can find that probably everything on the internet can be fake. So we don't know what to trust. But anyways, apart from that.
What do we trust? Are you even
real?
Who
do we trust? Yeah.
Are we real?
Is this AI generated, this whole episode? But
it's not, by the way.
This accent cannot be faked. Let me tell you that. But I guess, you know, I started thinking like, okay, how does this affect, you know, business people or, you know, the audience that listens to Content is Profit? And a lot of the people that come to either the studio or hard conversations with us, they're always like when they start to create content, there's always a level of being careful with the message and the things that they say, right? And we've seen on social that a lot of the polarizing messages, right, might grab a little bit more traction, right? Polarizing topics might grab a little bit more traction, also depending on like what platform you're in, you know, what point of view you're sharing, right? For example, what just happened in Venezuela, a lot of, you know, wrongdoing is happening in the country. A lot of people are sharing that, and the entire country banned X. right? Because, Maduro, the dictator, almost like blocked Elon Musk, and Elon Musk being the owner of X, he unlocked himself and continued to talk on Maduro's account or whatever. And anyways, the country completely banned this platform, right? So this can happen anytime, and it can happen to every business. And, unfortunately, if something like this happen and you depend on social media content organically or whatever it is, it might be, the difference between staying on business or going out of business, right? So immediately we started thinking, okay, well, this clearly was a very little episode, but there's a big lesson, right? And you summarize it in like a sentence, right? When we started discussing this episode, don't build your home on rented land. So what are your thoughts on that, Fonzie? Because like you obviously deal with messaging and a lot of the projects that we work with, right? With our partners.
Yeah, true. Oh, I'm just laughing. I mean, this is a concept that has been going around at least, from way before we entered the industry, right? But it's one of the first things you learn when you join the direct response marketing world, which is build your list, right? Build an asset that you can control. And unfortunately, you cannot control 100% social media, right? There are challenges in each platform, different platforms, they got their different challenges. But one of the most common ones that you'll probably relate to is you publish great content, you have a great following, but only a very small percentage of your following actually sees your content and gets served with your content, right? So that is very frustrating for a lot of creators. It's like, why I have 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 10 followers, and nobody, or only like 10% of those people are the ones that are like watching my content, right? Like, why doesn't they get served my content? And at the end of the day, it's because, obviously social media is a product itself, right? They're trying to make money as well, and they got to find different ways to monetize the platform. And unfortunately, they're not prioritizing showing some of your content to the people that is following you, right? Rather, they might show, again, something that has more value for them, meaning advertisers, right? They're paying money for this platform. They're going to show you those posts, or they're going to show you things that they know they're going to keep you in the platform consuming, because you are the product at the end of the day, right? For these people. But, the idea of, building your home on rented land is this, that the problem is if you create something of significance and then your whole business is just based on that, meaning let's say all your revenue is attached to Instagram. If something like what happened to you, right, where they flag you or they demonetize you, you lose your revenue overnight, and you don't want to be in that position. So what you want to do is you want to build your own list. You want your asset that you can control, right? Meaning people are going off platform and signing up to email newsletter, etc. It doesn't have to be a newsletter, right? There's many ways you can do this, but pretty much they give you willingly their contact information, and then you have that store in a place where you can use it regardless, right? Because they agreed for you to communicate with them. So if they're giving you their information, you can use an email autoresponder, right? You can start sending newsletters, emails weekly, etc. You can start promoting off channels of these social medias.
You can start
and that is the value of it, right?
Educating, you can build relationships at the end of the day.
And let's say, you're like, oh, but I don't have a software that sends emails to all these people. You don't need it. Like, in the most basic element, people are signing up for something, right? They willingly give you their contact information. That can literally be an Excel sheet that you have all this information, name, email, phone number, and you use that. You can literally send a personal email one by one, right? Again, you don't need all this software. These tools have been created to facilitate marketing efforts. So if you have, active campaign, go high level, whatever it is, awesome. You can leverage that asset to email multiple people at the same time, and you're saving your time of going one by one. But if you don't have any of these tools at the most basic level, now you have access to the people that are agreeing to communication with you off platform.
Yeah. I think something that came to mind, apart from like the tactical of like, okay, collecting the email, which obviously very, very important, right? I think that's top of the list. But
and many different ways of doing it too.
Absolutely. You know, most people, because they might not have the technical ability to go and maybe sign up for these platforms or learn a little bit, or maybe they don't have the resources to go hire somebody to do it for them, right? They take advantage of these platforms like Instagram, Patreon, like TikTok, that you can actually monetize inside of the platform. But that's where the journey of monetization ends for a lot of people. So we want to encourage you, okay, what are other ways that maybe we can steer or even own our own traffic, right? Where you can still building real relationships through email. And by the way, email is not dead for those thinking that email is dead. It's like, I think number one on selling online, right? And the people that join that means that they're closer to you, that they want to hear more about you, that they want to find out more of what you offer, of your message, right? So I think that's a very positive thing. And I think it's also a really good indicator to, like, if you have it out there and you promote it every single time and people are not signing up, that's a really good indicator to see, okay, well, maybe what I'm saying or the thing that I'm delivering might not be valuable for that person, right? And then we can adapt and we can shift. Now, the other thing that I wanna share is, like, we want to motivate people to be passionate, obviously, of their message without harming anybody. And of course, there are guidelines, and of course, there's certain levels of things that you can and you cannot share online. But when you start seeing excessive flagging or excessive stoppage at your message, and you never know what these algorithms might pick here and there. For example, if we decide to put a political thumbnail for this episode, right? Or we frame it in a way where we want to, I'm doing quotations here, we might want to attract attention by talking about that topic that is relevant today. The whole video or podcast or micro content might be flagged because it's under the eye of a political angle, right? But if we shift it and we're like, okay, this is a lesson for the content community, for the creators, for the entrepreneurs, based on this thing, the angle now slightly changes, and now you might not get flagged. So again, like, make sure that you go over the guidelines of every platform that you put in content out there, because often sometimes we're not following the rules. And to be fair, maybe that's what happened in there. Maybe it was the angle on the thing. What really, I guess, pissed me off was it was not my own original content, right? So that was the thing. Why is that other account not flagged, or why is that content?
Maybe it is flagged.
Maybe
because being flagged doesn't really stop you from posting.
Absolutely. So it got me thinking, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that's really interesting. Now I know, where that limit is, and some people might be like, okay, I might want to push the buttons a little bit more. And we also know of platforms like, for example, like Kill Tony, that they're like, in the comedy world, right? They're like the anti institutions, right? That now platforms like Netflix, because they became so big, because they were so genuine with their message on how they want to do things, now bigger platforms are chasing them, right? So you're like, okay, now the game flips. So in the meantime, it's like, okay, what is the platform that you can own? Where is it? How can you start directing people that resonate with your message to your own thing? But also, that's why I'm such a big fan of multiple platforms, because you can test the same message in multiple platforms and see what happened. Recently with Operation Truth, a show that runs here out of the studio, we gain access to their accounts, and there's certain platforms that they got massive reach versus others. Same content. Mm-hmm. But one has millions of views, the other one has probably a few thousand views, right? Same piece of content. So why? I
mean, I think there's also differences in the platforms.
Absolutely.
Too. Like, obviously, the people that hang out mostly on Facebook are going to be different than the people that hang out on TikTok, right? Like, they have different tendencies.
Absolutely.
They're in the platform for different reasons.
And that's my point of, like, why me personally, I'm a big fan of, okay, if we have the time and capacity and maybe the team to test different platforms to see, where your safety net is, because you can be like, you can see where it goes, versus if you put like 100% of the resources, right? And you might say one thing that the platform doesn't like, then it's game over for you and we have to restart again, for example, right? Mm-hmm. And most people won't recover for that, because it takes a lot of effort refining your message. It takes a lot of effort to put it out there, as we all know. So again, can we figure out a system, right, where you can do that? And I think, to each, obviously, everybody's going to have their own case studies and how they do things, but we highly recommend that. The other thing, go ahead, sorry.
No. I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
Going off of that, your safety net of content, but also that's why I think podcasting is such a powerful vehicle, man, because that RSS feed you own, right? And it's almost like so prehistoric the way that the audio podcast works, that is beautiful because it's very unfiltered, right? And you actually can move that RSS feed you own, that you can move it to different platforms. The platforms don't, I think today with like modern podcasting, like if you start a podcast, let's say instead of Spotify, it might be something like that. Yeah. But that original RSS feed you own. So the combination between that and your email, and the people that listen to podcasts, which by the way, if they pay attention, is because they're actually enjoying your message, is a killer combination to be able to start building trust with the people that might resonate with your message.
Yeah. I think the new strategy for people should be to, when they publish content, tell people to drop in their address and then send them a mail-in subscription service where they're like, they actually sign up in there and they put their name and number and everything. And they're like, Luis Camejo, agree to get messages from the other Luis Camejo, right? And messages can be sent to phone number, email, and the address. And then you have you collect like a physical ballot, right? And you have it in your house in a divider. You have one of those big filers, and you put it on there, and you save it for life. I think that should be the way to do it.
That should be the way, yeah.
Bulletproof.
I can't tell you for real.
Not fireproof, but maybe bulletproof, yeah.
Yeah. Keyword warrior proof.
Yeah. Being flagged proof, all that stuff.
Being flagged proof. That's hilarious. But, obviously, navigating today's, marketing environment. And if you're a small business, right, maybe most of your revenue comes from interactions like this, right? There's a lot of people that are building the businesses in the back of social media, right? And no wonder a lot of people are so scared to, maybe voice their opinions outside of the business, right? If that's what you feel. And sometimes, that's necessary to be able to maybe, do right in the world. And we never know. So anyways, I think food for thought, this episode, short and sweet. We want you to consider, right? If you don't have an email list, how can you start collecting those emails, right? If you are in just one platform, how can you start building a system that allows you to test messages in different platforms? If you have any questions around this, obviously, we're here to help and assist. So you can send us a message in social media at BizRosCo. You can also send us an email. You can do Luisda, Luisda at bizros.co. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, we're just gonna start getting cold pitched on our emails.
That's fine. My answer is always the same. If you want to, be a guest on the show, or if you want us to come to your show, go to Pod's.
Well, I was saying cold pitch that people are trying to sell us stuff.
Well, that too. But, mostly we get pitches to people be on the show, which we're referral based. And, I'm sure if you're listening, if you want to be on here, send me an email and we can figure something out. But I will encourage people to go to podmatch.com and go sign up there. It's only $5 and you can connect with incredible creators.
Oh, yeah.
And shout out to Alex, the founder. Amazing. Anyways, anything else, Fonzie, before we head out for this episode?
No.
Thank you for allowing me to rant a little bit. And I think more rant the lesson, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, my Instagram account is very personal.
There's a lesson on everything.
Yeah, there's a lesson on everything. And so how can we start thinking of ways that, you can move the people that are paying attention to you on social into your own ecosystem and start communicating with them there? Cool.
They're cool with you? Are
awesome.
You cool?
Yeah.
Are you cool? Yeah.
I'm cool.
Are you chilled out now?
Guys, with that said, thank you so much for tuning to the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platform and on social media.
That's right. And if today's episode helped you move one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to share this episode and don't forget to leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.